Go on.
Yo, go on
Go
then.
on.
Got your ears on?
You're much better at introducing, so you go ahead, brother.
As long as you've got your ears on, big fella. Hey, everybody, welcome back. Chew the fat with SB&G. It's been a hot minute. Again, the page of things to talk about's long and distinguished, Scotty Brown.
Nice to see you, brother. Man, that light's making my hair look greyer than it already is. I should have worn a hat like you, mate. You look dope today. I like the outfit.
Right. Okay, good. So listeners out there, not watchers, you should watch, not listen, then you'd see. It's actually just a good old flannel, really, isn't it?
Yeah, but you pull it off nicely, mate. You look really, really good.
Mate, you were just drinking something there. What did you have in your cup? Tell me about what was in your cup again.
Well, I can honestly say that I've done nothing for the last 100 hours. I mean, I came to work and we were uber busy, but I thought I'm just going to try and crank some green tea. So there's some green tea in here, not coffee. It's warming my insides up because everybody in the country must be feeling a bit the same, mate. It's a bit cold, it's a bit miserable. So that's what I've got drinking here. But I did drive the Lamborghini into work, which the only place I can talk to you is at work because it's the only place in my life that actually has any Wi-Fi. So that warmed me up a wee bit. That was fun.
So it's like, for contrast there, it's about 10 to 6. Easter Monday night. Rain and damp out there. Traction control on or off in the Lambo on the way into work?
On. I'm actually not as big a douchebag as I might. I might make out a bit of a douchebag, but I'm actually not. I'm that guy that's paranoid about becoming the person that's on the front of the stuff. Wanker bike retailer launches Lamborghini into old lady's fence.
I tell you what we did on Saturday night. We must have gone to town on Saturday night for dinner.
Yeah.
And we took what Sandra would refer to as the Wankermobile, and my Corvette, and we trundled into town, had dinner. That was fine. Thought we'd do a little Morehouse Ave, do the Avs, while we're out. And Saturday night, it was pumping in town, man, pumping. And we get to the Woolworths car park on Morehouse Ave and go past there because normally they hang out over the road at the MPD. Now, the MPD was full as well, but we're trundling past the Woolworths and it's packed with cars all lined up in every single car park, people standing around. So we do. The first step is ring James, Sandra's son, and go, hey, what's going on? Because if someone's going to know, he's going to know. So he tells us that there's the Christchurch something society. What is it? The bloody
RSA.
No. They've got a little car thing going. Christchurch Street Society on Instagram. Check that out. Christchurch Street Society on Instagram. And they have organised meets along the way. So anyway, we should go back and have a look. So Sandra's like, we'll just go down Morehouse, and when you get up near the top, sort of, how before Ferry Road, but actually you don't have to go to the lights. There's the white.
You can do it. You can do it dodgy with Yui there.
You can do it with Yui there, and not to be a total douchebag, but of course the Corvette's way more fun to drive around with the traction control off.
And in the wet.
Well, it wasn't too bad Saturday night, actually, to be fair. It was actually dry enough.
Okay.
But anyway, we required a U-turn. So a U-turn was done with a little bit of noise and a little bit of slippage and a little bit of someone hanging on to the handle and was taken by surprise. So, not ideal, probably. It's dark. You got no idea who's actually around. She gives me the lecture about, what could have been sitting at the lights or rah. But anyway, fun nonetheless. So then we did that. We went and drove into the Woolworths car park, did the lap, squirreled our way up and down the laneways, checked out what was there and drove out again. Probably could have sold the vet a couple of times while I was there.
Not gutsy.
Sold the vet, not sold Yvette too.
So, no, you don't want to do that. That costs you a fortune. Well, you'd make a fortune, we should say. You'd make a fortune. Did you have a sustained loss of traction any other time in the evening?
No,
just that wee blip.
I'm generally well behaved with Sandra on board.
here's the thing about that is that there is a time and a place for that, and I understand that there's always someone that takes it a bit far, but there's nothing I don't think it's that bad. It's been being done. I mean, I remember my old man telling me that they used to go and do burnouts. You probably did too, mate. Back in the day, they'd go up and down Colombo Street and do a burnout, and they're bloody, what were they, Mark 1 Zephyrs or something, or Mark 3 Zephyrs,
Prefect or something, did they?
Yeah, probably something like that. And
100E.
but I do like the sound of a wee burnout, even a bigger burnout, not douchebaggy stuff. I saw something on the gram, or was it on YouTube actually? With some dude in a Holden doing a huge number 8 burnout in the just outside, not that I know where it is anymore because I don't eat that shit, but McDonald's. So the in Linwood Ave, it's a big open space. If you were to do a burnout at an intersection, that's the spot.
Now I saw that. In fact, actually, James sent that to me. To be fair,
I think it was I think it was on YouTube.
Oh, was it? Was it a blue thing? Was it a Falcon, not a Commodore or something? Was it? No.
Okay,
well, I saw someone trying to do it, and I thought it was. Anyway, whoever it was that I got sent that was on the gram or wherever it was or however it came, I actually thought it was a pretty average effort. To be fair.
Really? Oh no,
Yeah.
I thought it was.
Maybe we're looking at
drifting, then drifted to the. No, I thought there was. Okay, well, whatever.
Maybe.
Good on you for going out and doing a wee lap. I think it's very, very important that stays within this. Like the city needs to have not the boy racer issues, but it needs to have that Saturday night car flavour, doesn't it? I think it's special.
I tell you what, we were quite surprised, and anybody who's into cars and into modifying or whatever, will know the reality of how much money actually gets spent on some of these cars, and it's not, but what I was impressed about is we went through this car park. Everybody was parked there. They were out talking, standing by their cars, walking around looking at other cars. No harm was being had, and I believe they actually talk with the Woolworths people, and they knew like it's kind of almost semi-organized, right? So it's not like they've just totally taken over. They must sort of, from what I understand, semi-organise it. But there was a mixture of cars. There was a really late model M whatever it is, 5.4, whatever it is, with the big grill on it, deep green coloured thing, really nice looking thing. To some bright pink bloody Integra or whatever it was, and a real mixture of in between as well. And of course the Holden car show was on here in the weekend, so there was quite a flow over of Commodores and bits and pieces that had obviously been in town and been at that and whatnot. So pretty impressive lineup, but it was very, very, very well behaved. So all of that shit should carry on because car culture is so cool. Yeah,
car culture is cool, and I'm sure that if you watched some sort of car show, etc., on any sort of social media, there'll always be that one little clip where someone does something, but like that's for 1 minute of the 5-hour show. And I feel like if that's what how you found it down there, that means the culture is really changing, and that's actually fucking good for everyone, because you're right, people do go to those shows go to those meetups with their cars. They've spent a lot of money on them. They're actually not that interested in pulling the bumper off it or doing a burnout, and there's so much money being spent on those cars, and they're actually the pride and joy of the owners, and they actually want to go down and show their mates off. And then old mate Angus comes down, and drives past, and they get a kick out of your car, and that's what fuels it, and that's what that cars and coffee thing is sort of a little bit about. But I think there's a different feel at night, don't you think? At nighttime, under the lights, the paint looks better. It feels a bit naughty maybe, but it feels better. It feels organized, but it's kind of a bit naughty. And again, I just think that's I think that's great, mate. And I'm super stoked. I would so be like, if I had one of the boys in the car and I was hooning around, I'd be like, oh mate, let's go down. And then if they were like even remotely interested, I think I'd be like, oh, maybe we'll do it another time, because I think I'd be too scared, to be honest. So good on you.
Yeah. No, it was cool. And yeah, I don't know. I actually see on their socials, because, found out who it was. So the next minute you just follow them on the socials and bits and pieces. Sure. And I see their next one's going to be in the daytime because it's getting too cold in wintertime. And I'm a bit disappointed about that, because I agree with the nighttime thing. The nighttime thing, it does feel a bit naughty because you're all congregating together. The lights are on. Some of them had some cool underglow going on.
Sick.
And I just really like that. Anyway, I'm sure the day thing will be just fine. But there is, something about you do all your other stuff during the day, and then you go for a little cruise at night, and
Yeah.
fill some
I
time.
think it's cool. And I think if the police, cops, whatever the kids want to call them these days, if they knew that was on, but everyone was being respectful, they might show up, but they're probably just showing up just to make sure that people know they're there. They're actually probably not going there to be the dicks that some people think they're going to be, apart from the guys that are being dicks. And then, you know what? Good on them. I mean, are we burnout? They should be like slapped on the hand. I don't know. I sort of feel like pretty open-minded about it. Everyone's going to have a different opinion on that because I'm sure someone's lost someone who once was in a car with someone who did a small drift and it turned to shit. And I've been there and done that. So I don't want to. What's the word for that, Gus? I don't want to encourage that stuff. But
no,
yeah. I mean, I'd like to think one of my boys might do a wee one day. Be super cool, wouldn't it? Hey, do you think we should sort of put it out there that we've been talking a little bit about doing something with cars, you and I? And at least I'm not saying we're going to say it. I just think if we just mentioned it, that it might, do you know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say.
Well,
so we don't have to say anything.
And like we've cracked into chew the fat straight into cars, which is fucking cool. And I agree, we could do this. We've been having some deep and meaning. We've been chewing the fat outside of chew the fat.
Yep.
About between, what we could do car culture wise in Christchurch, what we could put together. You and I are both a big fan of. Well, I am especially. If anybody does car culture well, it's bloody Japan and Tokyo and all of those cool things, and they do some really cool shit over there. And could we pull off something similar here in Christchurch? And I think we could.
Yeah, no, I think we could. There's definitely enough cars. There's definitely enough culture. The key would be to do it in such a way that it felt that everyone was there. Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter if you've got a Lambo or a Corvette, that clearly, if you're a car person, they don't belong together at all, or a Capri or a hotted up JDM wide body Liberty Walked NSX,
or there was a DX Corolla, there was a wagon DX Corolla red down at that thing. Oh, old school cool, man. DXs are cool.
Yeah, and if you love cars, there's a certain. I mean, I don't love every car, but you still, if you're a car guy and you're going to this event that we may or may not do, it'll be about not rolling your eyes. It's taking a photo of everything and being respectful of that person's taste, and that's actually a pretty good way for the world to work. You don't have to like the fact that I've got baggy jeans on, but you don't have to say, "Oh, you look like fucking stupid in your baggy jeans." Hey, we're in baggy jeans. It's all good. So I reckon, I think we should.
They're your fat pants.
Well, what did you say to me? Are you fat shaming me again?
No, I said nothing.
But no, we should do that, mate. Anyway, we should move on from that. The whole show.
If we do this, which we will, it will be a party. That'll be that. It'll be done right with a party. It'll be cool.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And I think if we do it where we think we're going to do it, there should be a bicycle race for like 15 minutes on one of the floors as well. And then we can have the super duper cool car, like, super expensive cars up on the top. But it depends what time. Anyway, no shortage of ideas. We'll have no shortage of
You're an ideas man, Scotty Brown.
Yeah. Well, I'll just give you the ideas, and then you just make sure it gets initiated.
I'll get my people to talk to your people. We'll get our.
Hey, can we talk about very briefly talk about the Holden show? I didn't go to it. I saw some amazing pictures of Brooksy's arena, of Wolfbrook Arena, getting like full. I thought they were going to be outside it. Little did I know, mate, that they were filling up inside there.
Yeah, 100%.
It was proper.
Yeah, I don't know how many cars I got. We didn't get there either.
Hundreds.
But what I do know, just trying to see if I've got a photo somewhere that I could throw, and I haven't. One of the reasons why we went cruising in the Corvette on Saturday night was because it was parked outside the house, and it normally lives elsewhere. It lives at my parents' place, which they use that house for an Airbnb, so nobody ever uses the garage. So I use it as my car storage. But the guy who was Airbnb in it was coming to town with a classic car.
Got it.
And then it turns out he was here for the Holden show. Turns out it was a whatever vintage 70s, whatever GTS Monaro, buddy, beautiful looking thing in orange. Yeah.
I was going to say, I bet it's orange. I love that. Yeah, it's a cool car. Yeah, it's a cool car. Where was I going to go with that? I can't bloody remember now. Oh, now there's a car parked out of work here sometimes, and I said this to you just before we started. It's a Suzuki Swift, not Zwift, Swift. It's owned by a South African that works here, Sean. I pull up here to do the podcast with actual Wi-Fi and think, shit, there's bloody Sean's car in the parking lot. That's a bit strange. He's probably, I don't know what he's up to. Who knows? Anyway, turns out he's not in the store when I arrive. He's out in the fucking rain, mate, doing his 55 Ks on a Sunday. No, sorry, Monday, but it feels like a Sunday. So he went out and did 55 Ks in the rain.
Again.
A legend. Yeah. On his weird looking sort of road mountain sort of cross bike we've seen in here a million times. Mate, and then I hear him getting changed, and then all of a sudden he's over there building the brand new bike from Factor that's being launched this week. He's finishing that off, which we can't talk about, but we will talk about later. He's over there working. He's over there working.
On a Easter Monday. You paying him for that? Time
Probably.
and a half.
Whatever. It doesn't even matter. I mean, what do you say to? Shut up. What do you say to a guy like that?
You don't.
I'll tell you what I said.
Knuckles, mate.
No, do you know what I said to him? You're a fucking machine, mate. It's exactly how I said it. There was the exact tone. I said, Sean, you're a fucking machine, mate.
What colour? The bike that we can't talk about that he's building. What colour is this one?
Okay, this color is this. We've only got one color. We've got more of the new color coming, I think, tomorrow. So Tuesday, DHL should deliver those because we get everything from Factor DHL from DHL. So it comes in like 24, 48 hours from the factory. We've done some teasers online through Factor, and we've shared that through the Scotty Brown's social. But yeah, this new bike, this new piece of equipment from Factor, mate, is it is going to revolutionize their company. It's going to revolutionize our company, and it's going to be a very, very cool launch. A launch that, like when launches come, you're like, oh yeah, whatever, they've changed this or changed this. What's coming is it's a game changer.
Why? Why is it a game changer?
Because if everyone wanted, and this is where they had to be very, very careful. So everyone wakes up in the morning and says, I want to buy a Porsche, right? This is car talk in association with. So, and then you wake up in the morning and a few of your mates and everything have got the Porsche, and you just like, it's just too far out of reach. Even though you could get it and there'd be a way you can get it, you just can't bring yourself to spending $100,000 or whatever it is. But you can sure as hell spend 50, but you don't want to buy the second-hand one that's been used by a bike rider. It's all broken. So you just buy a really nice WRX. So what's coming from Factor is the ability to buy a brand new Porsche at WRX money is probably the best way to describe that. I've got to be really careful because I do respect the launch, and I do respect Factor as a company, and John who runs it, and the owners and everyone that works in it, that we've got to be super careful. And this is going out probably tomorrow or the next day, almost on launch day. But as I sit here...
What day is launch day?
I think the 25th, like 2 or 3 days away.
No, yeah.
So, but we're allowed to hype it up. There's something
and
coming.
I think it should be.
It should be, yeah, and it's we're like as a store owner and the importer of Factor bikes into New Zealand for New Zealanders. I can hand on heart say that it's the next most exciting thing that's happened since the new Ostro. It's very, very cool. So yeah, that's exciting. So Sean's down there building that on his day off on Easter Monday after his 55K bike ride. He's probably still wet, mate. And what is he?
Wet.
He's a fucking machine.
What? Wet. He's a machine. I think I know because we can't talk about it. I've seen this thing, and the one that you already had built, and the one that he's probably building there now. Then, by the sounds of that, as a personal thing, as you know, as you asked me, I'm not a fan of the colour, but that's just me personally. The actual bike, I think it's amazing.
Yeah,
for exactly what you're saying about Porsche, WRX, Porsche VW, whatever, same family. That I guess what we're talking about is the monetary thing, and then what you're going to get equivalent for that monetary that you're going to poke out. I think it's absolutely brilliant.
Well, interestingly enough, and now that I've used cars, I think back to when they did the launch with me. It was just before Christmas last year, and they were super excited. The launch date's been pushed out a little bit because I know Shimano as a company are really, really struggling to keep up with demand right now. But in their book of literature, they actually used cars, believe it or not, and they used cars in such a way that they sort of painted the picture between the different things. And interestingly enough, as far as the cars go, they used a GT3 for the Factor Ostro.
Yes.
Right? The V2, the brand new one.
Yep.
And they used a 911 for the new bike, which I just about said the name of. So, really cool. And next week's or week at our next podcast will hopefully. Well, actually, I'll get you to throw some pictures up, Gus. I can talk. I'll be able to talk a lot more about the layup of the carbon, how it's price pointed, why they used specific things, why it's the price is not the same as the other bike, what you can expect from it. So there's a lot to talk about with that particular launch. So watch out. It'll be all over social, global social, in about 48 hours from now.
How do they name a bike?
That's actually a bloody good question. So I don't actually know the exact reason why. Now, why did he do that? So Rob, who owns the company, actually stood up in front of us and did a lot of talking about different specifics about the bikes and the brands. And anyway, we came back to this new bike, and of course, he was talking about. So he likes now. I'm going to be so scared that he might end up listening to this. And when we have him on the podcast, Gus, he will be able to talk all about this. And that podcast will be 2 hours long, mate. It'll be so goddamn interesting. And we touched on a few things the other week, which got me all hyped up. I think it's 5 letters. He only likes 5 letters. Ostro. Yeah,
well,
he only likes...
O2 was only 2 letters.
Yeah, well, don't be a dick about it. Why? I don't know.
No more than 5. It was no more than 5, O2, but
Ostro. Or is it syllables? O2. Yes, it's syllables. It's 2 syllables. Maybe he's got OCD like me and only likes even numbers. Maybe that's what it is. I actually think now that it's syllables. I wish we could take what we just talked about over the last 3 minutes and condense that down to 30 seconds. But anyway, that's what this whole thing's about, right? Chewing the fat. It's 2 syllables. O2, Ostro.
And
although there's a brand new bike being launched at Tour de France, and that's gonna give you a bicycle stiffy. I'm not even going to talk about that now, but my understanding is that is only going to be 1 syllable.
What's the track bike?
The track bike is the Hanzo.
No, isn't that the TT bike? No, what's the TT bike?
Hanzo and Hanzo Track.
Oh, I see.
The bike that I bought when we did launch 2 years ago prior to the Olympics is when they explained to us that they were going to bring in a brand new Hanzo track model, and it was going to be used by the Olympic team, the Australian Olympic team. Launch was a few days before the Olympic Games, and they were going to go faster than anybody else, and they were going to win gold, and they did just that. And that bike is actually in store down here, and I would love the New Zealand track cycling squad to be on that bike. Gosh, I would. I did. When I sat there, I thought, I'm going to buy 4 because there's 4 guys in a team. I'm going to take a punt that there's 2 shorter guys and 2 taller guys. And I did, hand on heart, buy those thinking, if they find out about this, they might just buy those. So, hey, you never know.
Meantime, you're putting together your own track team for Denton Park with 4 riders,
yeah,
we might 2 medium people and 2 large people.
Yeah, poor old Aiden who pays the bills. Bloody hell, the poor guy's probably lost most of that front part of his hairline because he's 4 exclusive bloody track bikes arrive and wonders where the hell we're going to get the money from. But yeah, the that might be our second bet, mate. There might be a masters team at the next Denham Park track meet.
I've ridden the track once. That's it. Just once, Denton Park, and I was actually not even clipped in. I was actually in some normal shoes riding somebody else's track bike.
That's cool.
Actually, the day we went to do with Rion to do the hour record, I got on the bike and had a little ride around, and
cool.
I scared the shit out of myself. To be fair, I don't know.
That track's really interesting because that was built for the 1974 Commonwealth Games. I was born in 1974. That track's about as had it as I am. But that track's 400 meters long, and I think 38 degrees, maybe, or something like that's not very much. I just got a picture sent from my mate whose son is more than likely going to be a Formula One driver, and his older brother got into cycling a few months back and started riding his bike, and they were up north doing some karting practice or whatever. Nationals or maybe something like that, and they sent me a picture of the oldest son down at the track, must be Cambridge, and he's doing laps up there, and he's never been into cycling before. Now this young kid's actually thinking about cycling, and I look back, and that's how I started too, mate. Like, I loved cycling, had a road bike, rode to school, thought I was the hot shit, and then I went track development program. Lots of kids still do that, and actually adults do it now. But back in the day, I think I was number 18 on the Daily Freightways machine. It was a white track bike, Daily Freightways sponsored. I think it cost my parents $40 or $50 for the season, and that's how I started cycling. So, yeah, let's hope that this mate of mine's son actually starts up track cycling this year and actually makes a go of it. I think it's so cool, mate.
You know what we should do?
Development.
You and I heads up on the track.
I'd love to see that on a fixed wheel.
Whatever. But
I'd love to see on a fixed wheel.
You and I should go heads up, buddy, for pink slips.
Okay. We can do that. You might be chewing the handlebars then, though, mate.
Oh, here we go. Hey, speaking of F1, you just mentioned F1 really quickly, and we're going back to cars. We'll go back and forwards. Did you see Saudi Arabia just yesterday, this morning, whenever it was? Oscar Piastri won again. It's 3 times. Now they're calling him PS3 or something. 3 times. Only 3 times this year that he's won. Only multi winner this year so far. That kid. Woo, look out. We might have an Aussie F1 champion.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? I actually didn't watch it. It was just a bit late for me, to be honest.
Do you want the rundown? Do you want the quick rundown?
Yeah, no, I actually do, because all I'm going to do
Lawson 12th.
Okay.
Averagely. Okay. That's okay. Key factor, Sonoda crashed out really early on. Yes, see you bye.
Hang on. And because he did that in qualifying. Did he do it in the race as well?
Yes.
Did he?
Yes. Now, that wasn't totally his fault either, to be fair, but yes, gone quite early.
Right.
Thank you very much. Verstappen got a 5-second penalty for corner one, lap one. Him and Piastri ended up cutting the corner, and they gave him a 5-second penalty. Now he finished second anyway, so Piastri fair and squarely beat him.
Right.
And he was 5.2 seconds ahead of third, which I want to say was Leclerc, was it? I can't remember.
Right.
Actually,
so he still got second.
He held second. He still held second. So he still got good points there. But pole was pretty exciting. Those last few laps were actually Formula One pole. I actually find really exciting. Like they're within bugger all on 10/10ths. It's pretty cool, that part. And then the racing's good, but like we've talked about. But yeah. Anyway, Piastri wins. That's cool. McLaren.
But from what I saw yesterday, Max did have pole by 1,000th of a second, I
something,
think.
some
So he was on
ridiculous.
pole, but Piastri
Mhm.
got him and then won it. Did he? Shit, that's amazing. He's obviously a very good driver and
Very.
happens to be a very good driver in what is this year a very good car.
Correct. And who was it they were talking about? Was it Ocon? Who's Ocon or Gasly, one of the two, who are now all of a sudden just coming back up through the field and starting to get back up there. Apparently, they're still on last year's chassis.
Oh, really?
Which they were sort of nowhere last year. Now all of a sudden they're back again. So obviously they've decided to stick. I really don't know. I'm only surmising here.
Right.
They've obviously decided to stick with that chassis. Now all of a sudden a bit of development. Now they're getting this thing back into the. And that's always been a problem with Formula One. Is that we see a Ferrari chassis or whatever for a certain amount of years will always be really good, and everybody else will be shit, and there won't always be 2 or 3 really good ones, and then there'll be a change. And Red Bull had Adrian Newey, so they had years of the best chassis, and no one could ever get close to them. Right. It's pretty cool.
Who's Adrian with now?
Well, I don't think he's with anybody just at the moment, is he? Or has he skipped? Is he going to is he going to Audi or something? When they come on,
Audi. Yeah. So the thing I read that was it Toyota or Honda were with there was talks about them or one of those big companies buying out. Jesus, who was it now? Buying out Stroll out of Anyway, but where did Lance Stroll?
No, because Stroll is Aston Martin, right?
Yeah.
And Aston Martin, the car company, have sold their shares out, I believe, but are still staying on as a naming rights or something. But I don't know, as a sponsorship thing or something. But Aston Martin, as a manufacturer, have sold out, I think, out of their part that they owned.
Right? Have they? Interesting.
Speaking of winners, because we got some shit to talk about. Like, I don't know where we've been for the last week, but I'm gonna circle us to Brazil. And
Brazil.
Everyone likes a Brazilian, mate. Even you, right?
Yeah. I'm going to have some of this. I'm going to don't tell Aiden. We've got this really cool thing at the store called DTA. What it stands for is don't tell Aiden. It's when we do naughty things, like we might have ordered 2 of something we don't like Aiden finding out. And I haven't paid for this this bar. I'm not a big fan, to be honest, but it'll get me through the next sort of 15, 20 minutes. It's an M's power cookie in the cranberry flavor. So I'll eat this with the mic away and you do the talking. And I'm going to say, Sean. Yeah. No, I think Sean's going home. Okay. God bless him. Anyway, no, he's just popped up. He's trying to be quiet. You don't have to be quiet, Sean. Thank you, mate. You're a legend.
You bringing him on? You're bringing him on? Are you throwing him on?
He doesn't want to come on, mate.
Oh,
he's got a face for radio.
Okay.
Oh my God, he's gonna do. He's gonna undo the 4 mil bolts on my handlebar stem. So when I turn left, I go straight. See you, Sean. Happy Easter. Yeah, so that was Sean. He's just leaving. What a machine. I don't even know what time it is. I've said it multiple times tonight. What a fucking machine. Got to give him kudos. In on a Monday when he doesn't need to be. Okay, he's coming to ride his bike, but he's also come to do a bit of a cleanup, so it's pretty special. Right, your turn to talk about Brazilians, and I'm going to eat this.
Yeah, I'll talk Brazilians. Let's talk Sean quickly. He's a busy man, but get your bike serviced, get it fixed, get whatever, get Sean to do it. He is a busy man, and I know that because I dropped 3 bikes off to him on Saturday. 3 things that need a whole lot of loving. So he's got some side projects to do when he gets around to it. Brazil, first round of the UCI Mountain Bike World Cup. The only thing of interest there was Sammy Maxwell, race number 1. They raced for 2 weekends in a row in Brazil. Race number 1, she became the first New Zealand woman ever to win an elite mountain bike World Cup round. The second week she came second, so and only by, but in fact the second week she came from way back to actually dig herself back to the front. absolutely incredible. Sammy Maxwell, fucking hats off, girl. You are putting New Zealand mountain biking on the bloody world stage right now. So I keep talking while you're still chewing. You're clearly chewing, wiping your glasses there. And the other thing, actually, we didn't talk about, we've talked about Cam Jones a few times.
We have.
First round of first round of the Lifetime Grand Prix was at Sea Otter at Monterey at Laguna Seca.
Hey, can I just interrupt real quick? Because have you been to Laguna Seca?
No.
Oh my God! I saw. Now, is that where they're doing Sea Otter every year, or is that
every year since wherever?
Okay, well, this is what we're doing next year. I'm going to go. Have you been to So you haven't been to Monterey?
Nope.
Haven't been?
Nope.
No. Okay. It is fucking amazing. All right. So that was just a side note. So it was at Laguna Seca, and it was up in Monterey. Keep going.
Yep. Yes. Two things there is that. So it's the opening round of the Lifetime Grand Prix. Cam Jones is there as a wild card trying to get into the whole series. He's got a place well there and at Unbound coming up very shortly. He was, Christ, off the top of my head, was he 12th or 8th? I can't remember, 12th or 8th, something like that. And which was all good. He was crook on the weekend before it, which was a bit of a pain. But Matt Wilson's over there as well. Good Kiwi. Really good mountain biker, gravel rider. And he's actually there and hanging out with Cam. They're doing things together. And he was like 5th overall or something. If Cam was 8th, then Matt was 5th. If Cam was 12th, then Matt was 8th. Whatever, doesn't matter. 2 New Zealanders busted off the front, got the whole shot on the whole pro field. And there's a big climb when they start off the start line. They go up this big climb and then they get into the first descent. And these 2 Kiwis were like pinning it down this gravel descent out the front. Good God. It was so good. So wicked. In fact, they've just done another race. Levi Leipheimer, a good old mate of Lance's, no doubt. So it'll be a mate of yours, no doubt, through some. I'm sure you know someone in the Kevin Bacon world of cycling. I'm sure you know someone who knows Levi Leipheimer. The Levi's Grand Fondo just in the weekend. In fact, it was live on YouTube, the last of it, and both Cam and Matt were in that. Matt coming in was the first of the 2 of them in he was 5th there too or something. I think Keegan Swanson won that as well. 4,200 meters of climbing.
That's a big one. Yeah, that's a big one. So, and is it in California?
Well, I don't actually know where that was. Yeah, something. Yeah, it might have been. Yeah, can't actually remember where that was.
Okay, so it's Levi's Grand. He's actually got a Grand.
Yeah, Levi's Grand Fondo is what it's called. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because the New York Grand Fondo, New York, is coming up. May must be 3-4 weeks time. Yeah, so it's starting to become Grand Fondo season in the States now. Man, the Yanks put on a phenomenal Grand Fondo event, mate. I'm sure they're so good.
Thinking about, obviously, we're going to Sea Otter next year.
Yep. Honestly, I'm not kidding. We should, even if we're not going for this, and we could do some stories over there for sure, right? But and I've been watching a few of the GNC?
GCN.
Oh God, I thought today I was going to get it right because I always do it back to front. So GCN, yeah. So GCN had their guy there, interviewing. I think there was some new park tools, etc., and it was actually quite exciting. I feel like that is actually becoming now a bit like a trade show event that retailers and also wholesalers or importers need to almost be at, because especially from a United States point of view, need to be there because that's the place to go. It doesn't feel like Vegas or I don't even know if Vegas is still going, mate, to be honest, but that's the showcase now.
Well,
feels that way.
I don't know much about. See, the Sea Otter Classic was always a mountain bike race, and this year, the first time ever, they've changed it to be a gravel race, just because obviously that's where shit's going, right? Like it's all this gravel thing. But I think if you're into mountain bikes, gravel, there's definitely some road bike stuff there and whatnot. But I think if you're into that scene, then the Sea Otter Classic is the place to go and check all that shit out.
Yeah. Okay, so
so how I say we're going there is because actually I'm really going to fucking segue here, but I was thinking about this. Now that we're great YouTube stars.
Yeah, sure.
Yep. Like, I think that's what I want to do. I'm fucking sick of this. I'm fucking sick of this day job shit. Like, you see all these great people on YouTube riding bikes in Mallorca and here in America and fucking everywhere, or they own 10 supercars now. Now they own.
I know.
They got a YouTube channel now. They own 10 super, and they're just signing up for the latest fucking whatever else it is.
I know. And I watched I always watch these motivational guys and everything, and there was one guy the other day. I wish I could like recall when it was because it would make the story better. But it was like, the guy talking about, if you're sitting around a room with a bunch of guys and like you and I are now, and you have a big idea like that, it's your mates and everything that always shut you down. So don't hang out with your mates, hang out with the people that won't shut you down. So you said that, and I'm just like, I could feel myself going, mate, hold on. Like grass isn't always greener. Like, there's probably for every one of those guys is 200, 300,000 other guys all thinking that they're going to be the next big thing. Right. And then in my head, no shit, I could see Matt Jones. Do you know Matt Jones?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Matt Jones is a YouTuber. He became even more famous as a YouTuber in lockdown, and he's got a fucking orange Mercy bloody SVJ.
Did I see
SVJ Mercy? I mean, that is one of the coolest cars in my opinion on the planet of all time. Better than the Countach. Because the Countach was like super iconic, I understand that, but it wasn't beautifully pretty. Whereas I think the Murcielago is just insane. But so Matt Jones is hooning around one of those now, and he's probably paid his house off and everything. So look, there's hope for you. And so what I'm going to say to you as a mate, and not as a douchey mate to shut you down, mate, if that's what you want to do, you go fucking do it, brother.
No, I won't.
Okay.
You know why?
Right. Because you need me, and I'm not going to put my hand up.
I think. Well, I could be wrong. I don't know the background of everybody. But I feel like you need to be in a part of your life where you've got nothing. I've got too many commitments,
even responsibilities, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
right. Like at this point right now, everything in my world relies on me going to work and making sure I've got that income and making sure I've got all of that. And I just think that you can't really turn that upside down.
Yeah. And I respect you for saying that. I'm eating that. You need to talk.
Yeah. Well, no, I just rather the fucking... I was talking to a mate the other day, long-time listener. Not of our podcast. Not of our podcast, of course. Oh, fuck.
That's a pretty good one-liner.
Hey, that was a one-liner. What we didn't talk about... Simon Gurins?
We could still though. Oh man, if Rachel's listening to this, she's going to turn off because I've got food in my mouth and I'm talking. But
Sandra will kill you too.
Well, so it's not looking good. But
unless your insurance policies are good, then it might be.
We could take a group of people to Sea Otter, or we could go because Monterey is wicked. The flight into San Francisco is easy as. San Francisco is the most disgusting, brutally horrible, nastiest fucking city on the planet, in my opinion. However, the airport's amazing because it's not the San Francisco it used to be. Rent cars, hoon down to Monterey. It's a beautiful drive, absolutely amazing drive. Do a week down there, fly home out of LA, easy. Or back up to Sydney. Anyway, we should do that.
Who signed up? Let me just check the chat here, see if anybody's signed up yet.
Yeah. We probably.
How many do we need?
We just do it yourself, but I'm just saying, you want to make it. You'd want to do because you have to. It's bigger than it sounds, right? It's not just like let's just go. Like then if you've got 10 people,
packing one bag, a bike, and we're out of here.
Well,
in fact, actually, doable. I never just pack one bag, so that's not probably true.
Well, you just
unless it's a fucking big bag.
Yeah. Well, we should think about doing that next year because
I think you always need to pack. You always need to pack 15 things that you know you'll never use, but you'll take anyway, and sit on that suitcase so you can get it closed.
Yeah.
And then you'll get there and use 3 items for one whole week, and you'll
100%.
use those Same 3-1, and then
yeah. And then you got the intention of like working out twice a day and riding your bike heaps and this and that. It never happens. But I'll tell you, Monterey, that area, Pebble Beach.
When you were listening to your motivational guy on YouTube,
yeah,
were you sitting on the couch?
No, I was sitting over there. I was actually. Where was I? No, I wasn't. I wasn't like sunk back, just like morbidly watching it. It was for a reason, and that theory is right because most people will shut you down, right? Most people will shut you down, or if you say you're going to do it,
shut you down. They just think you're a dreamer, right?
Well, but they like, oh, whatever, mate. You couldn't do that, or oh, bro, that's not possible. Why would you want to do that? Don't you want to do that? Like, it's not like, bro, good on you. That happens a lot, especially I think in New Zealand. I don't think so much in America, but anyway. But you could do it. You just got to have a good. You just got to have a good hook, and I think that you need. You're right. You're actually dead right when it comes to like responsibilities. You need to be able to. You can't. I don't think you can afford to do that thinking I've got to make this work because I've got to make enough money to pay the mortgage. Because I think then you're doing it for the wrong reasons and it wouldn't feel authentic. It wouldn't be interesting. You're trying really. It's a bit like work here, mate, to be honest. It's probably a bit like, if you're just doing everything for the tin, you become, it's actually not authentic. And authenticity is something that is, I think, super important to success. So I would say that what we're doing is actually quite authentic because we ultimately didn't do it because we wanted to be superstars. I didn't even know why we wanted to do it, right? We just were like, let's just do this. Someone's going to listen. We'll get better at talking about stuff that's interesting to no one. But actually, because it's close to home, there is authenticity there. And so it might just work. It might not work to create wealth, but it actually might work. And I was thinking, like, if there's 100 people following us, right? Like, if you were in a room now and there was 100 people, that room's full. You think about that. So you think, I'm going to do an event and I want a whole bunch of people to listen. You'd be, and you have 100 seats. You'd probably think, if I get 30, I'd be stoked. So we have, in theory, filled the room with 100 people.
Fuck, this is glass half full.
No, but it is.
This is a great way to. This is a fucking fabulous way to think about this.
But that's 100 people. I know you can't talk because you're lost for words. There's 100 fucking people in the room listening to you. Now, whether they're engaged or not is irrelevant, but you got them in the room. Now, if a few fall off for the next one, that's fine, but a few might more come. But so think of the power of 500 followers or that shouldn't. I mean, if you've got 200 of them are trolls or little brothers and sisters and just doing likes for likes' sake, that's not the same. But if you've got 100 relatively engaged people listening, or even 200 or 500, that's actually fucking world class.
I know. We get to 1 million and we're going to bloody see it.
Well, 100%, and that could happen, and it could happen because it's authentic. What is true the fact? Well, there's 100 other people using the same name. We don't really talk about bike riding. Do you know what I mean?
We did actually fuck that up.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, it could have been a whole bunch of other things, but it's too late for that. And look, it is what it is. Now, so did you know the old mate, and I don't know his name, so I always say old mate, the guy from Monster Energy Drink, he was a South African. Now, we're back into South Africans I wasn't a big South African fan, but then, guys come along, Keegan, Sean, you have to like them. We don't have to like them, but you do like them because they're lovable. And then, so this guy packs up everything and fucks off to the States and says to himself, there's a hell of a lot of people interested in energy drinks. I'm going to give it a go. And so that's what he did. He started Monster. Did you see the stats on if you'd invested 10 grand?
No.
Right, so he starts Monster, let's just say 20 years ago. I think it was 2002.
Hubert Hansen?
Are you Googling it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So throw those.
I am like they're trying to hook me in to be one of the chase fucking people, mate. You know that.
Oh yeah. You know, you'd be great.
Anyway,
So
Hubert
he
Hansen.
starts the company in the hope that he's going to be better than say Red Bull. Starts selling this Monster Energy drink with this big M that's sort of written, you know, and their advertising is very them. They didn't try to be anyone else. If you'd invested in 2002, if you, I don't even know if it went public. Now I can't actually answer that. But if you'd invested 10 grand in 2002, which to be fair would have probably felt like 50 grand today, and that's not just sitting around. And this is how the fucking rich get richer, mate. I'll give you 10. I'll give you, what's his name? Heinz Hinkler.
No, so actually, this is even
Nazi.
funnier. Hubert Hansen's not actually the right answer, but Hubert Hansen and his three sons began selling juice to film studios in 1935 or something.
Have you got the right guy?
Yeah. But then come along two other blokes and bought.
They bought that failing lemonade orange juice company, and they basically used that. It was going out of business.
Hence, the company filed for bankruptcy in 1988 and acquired by the Californian Co-Packers Corporation and renamed Hansen Natural Company. And in
Still went like shit.
In 1997, they launched their first energy drink called Hansen's Energy.
Right.
In 2012, after energy drinks had grown to the largest source, Yeah, I don't know. Somewhere they started to call it Monster, but anyway, yep.
So 10 grand.
Well, Coca-Cola Company bought 16.7% stake for $2 for $2.15 billion.
Yep. Now you think about why would they have done that? Why would they have done that? Distribution. 100%. So your 10 grand is today worth 500 million. 500 million.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Did you hear that rumor that the guy in Christchurch? Now I've got to be. Can I go to jail for this stuff if you say things that aren't true? No,
because only two people follow us and nobody fucking cares.
Yeah, no one actually fucking cares. So the guy that owns the Harley store down on Morehouse Ave, he had this is the rumor, had a friend who was going to do something. His name was Bezos. Did you hear that?
No.
And Bezos said to old mate, and you'll have to Google him as well, so we're going to call him old mate. Mate, you should throw a couple of bucks at this. I reckon it's going to go real good. Hello.
How does he know Bezos?
I think, I don't know. He fucking knew Bezos. So when you go down to the Harley store on Morehouse, a beautiful fucking store, by the way. I've only been in there once, but it's beautiful to look at. I don't think that, I don't think the guy that owns that, needs the profit from that to help him get by. That's my understanding. Yeah. Isn't that a great story? I remember my uncle in the States was offered pre-IPO shares in Microsoft. Oh, it doesn't. Oh, nah. That seems a bit risky. What the fuck? Anyway, so I'll throw a grand at your new podcast company, mate. If that's going to help, and I'll see if I can get some return on my money.
No, I'll probably spend it on energy drinks or something. But
I don't think that stuff's good for you. I don't think that people should drink it, but I just think those stories are amazing. I'll tell you another.
Maybe they shouldn't drink it. I don't know, but what would, from the demise of cigarette sponsorship, what would fund a lot of these athletes and a lot of the sport that we get to watch and all that sort of stuff? What would actually fund that if we didn't have energy drinks?
Yeah, well, you've got a few companies you've got Oracle and those sort of places, those sort of companies. Sorry, not places. So you've got big ass software companies. You've got a couple of pharma companies. Which you can't fucking trust a good pharma company. You only got to look at the other shit that went on over and what was that stuff called? Not the stuff. Not what? Come on, there was a movie about it. Oh Jesus!
What?
Doesn't matter. I'm like I. This is where this podcast is going to turn to shit, mate. If I don't have
right
pieces
now, right now,
things
there's somebody, buddy, freewheeling, listening to our podcast, waiting for you to tell us what the movie was, in anticipation of what it is. They're all of a sudden freewheeling.
What was that? What was that bloody company that got everyone hooked on drugs? It wasn't that long ago. I'm gonna Google it. This is the best. This is some of the best podcasting that New Zealand's ever seen. What's the drug in America that the family owned and it was really bad and got everyone hooked? Right, that's
now for you people listening and not being able to see Scotty talking into his phone here. That he wasn't actually talking to all of you. He was busy asking the question on his phone.
Okay, and it fucking worked. Okay, Google. What is the most abused drug in the United States? Well, it wasn't. Now it's not. It's not that. Fentanyl's now the most commonly one. But OxyContin. Have you seen that movie on Netflix about OxyContin? OxyContin?
No.
Unbelievable. So I'll send you the link for that. You can watch it, and then next week we'll talk about it. And while we're on this.
Right, get your notes out. Is that what you're saying?
Did you know? So we have missed a week, one of the most important weeks. We are going to talk about my friend who came to Christchurch with his beautiful family.
Friend.
And he likes me, and he used my car, and his DNA is all over it. I have not cleaned it or washed it since he gave me the keys back.
Did you see the bike he was riding on Saturday?
Yeah, okay, you win. He actually really liked
it. Singing. Did he like it?
Yeah, he really liked it. Yep. I'll be honest, he didn't like SRAM. I don't understand why. He's a Shimano guy through and through, but that's just the way it is.
Fair.
But the day he left, which was a Sunday, that very night, I purchased my first VPN. So I could watch, because Sky's so fucking useless at my house, I think generally, and it's all glitchy. So I thought I'll spend $200 on a VPN for 24 months, and I watched SBS Australia's commentary of the Paris-Roubaix.
Oh, was he on that?
He was not on it, but it was brilliant.
Oh.
It was live, free to air on SBS. It was amazing. I watched the whole thing and fell asleep with 40 Ks to go.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and I think the last 40 Ks was the best.
The
best part. It was
this
just
race is getting better.
Was it 40 Ks or 50 Ks? It must have been 40 something, because I think at 48 Ks, Tade just went.
Tried to go.
Yeah, but and that was about 48 Ks, and I think I must have fallen asleep, so I missed it. And I remember waking up to my computer at some point and seeing Van der Poel, talking about him winning it, and then I just thought, I don't know, and I fell back to sleep and then missed the whole thing. But mate, what a race! But before you analyze that bit of the race, can I just say that our little mate Nate Pringle turned up to the start line. He did in the under 23 version of the yep. And I have to go to my notes because I don't want to muck it up. And I don't want every week to be about bloody Nick's legs and Nate Pringle's fucking numbers. But he's special to me because he's come into the store so often. I feel like I know him. So he's in the Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe rookies. And Nate Pringle finished 11 minutes and 38 seconds down on the winner. And he got 74th. That's amazing.
Now,
I'm going to interrupt. What's even not? It's not. I don't know if it's cooler, because I do think I heard that Nate may have had a wee accident. I'm not sure. Let's just pretend everything went good for everyone. There's a wee guy from down south called Reef Roberts. Do you know Reef?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know Reef super well. Sorry?
He's been to a couple of cyclocross nationals and things, I think.
Oh, yeah, there you go. So he came into the store one day, super nice kid. My boy Hudson was here. Supposed to be working, but he wasn't working very good. So I said, mate, go get some food. So Reef took him over there, bought him bought them sushi with my money, bought them back. Like just a really, like a lot of kids under 20 wouldn't do that sort of thing. So really, really nice kid. Has sent me a couple of emails since he's been over there, just saying thank you very much, helping me get to where we are today. I'm sure it was an open email to multiple people, but still, a lot of people don't keep saying thanks, right? So Reef sent me that. Anyway, he was only 6 minutes. Let me have a look at this. 6 minutes and 52 seconds down, and he got 50th. So I think that's pretty amazing. So we had two very special South Island athletes on the start line who actually finished, not DNF'd, but finished within 10, 11 minutes of the winner of that race. What
now your mate
thing.
That's a bloody good. What length do they do?
I didn't Google that.
I don't know actually either. But your mate, because you've made that quite clear, was telling us at the night we had with Simon G.
Giro, you mean?
That it took, how many times did it take him before he finished it?
Hang on. He didn't do Paris-Roubaix.
Oh, was it Milan San Marino or something he was saying or whatever?
Yeah. It was 10 times. No, he didn't.
And I think Roubaix is a similar thing, right? You just don't always rock up there.
No. Well, that's why, you look back at Cancellara. I think he won it 3 times. Moser, I think, won it 3 times. Like, if you just turn up there and you get top 10, you're an incredible bike rider. Because so much, everything is luck, right? Like, I could drive the Lambo home tonight, and it's only good luck that someone doesn't go through a fucking red light and decapitate me.
It would be only good luck that you would win a drag off a set of lights, isn't it?
Yeah, right. But that particular race, a lot can go wrong. Like, and you only had to look at Mads, right? So Mads goes around that corner, fucking flying, and then because I was still awake at that point, I'm like, what's going on with him? And he's got a bloody flat tire, but he doesn't give up because he knows that every other person in front of him, the other 8, 6, whatever guys, can all just as easily have exactly the same thing happen to them. I think that's incredible. And I tell you what else I saw, just going right off subject, was one of the Factor team members, the Israel Premier Tech guys, got a puncher, and the boys with the Rovals, the specialized Red Bull team, was it Sudo Duval? Is it the same team? I can't remember. No, is it Sudo Duval?
Yeah, Sudo. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right, so Red Bull's one and Sudal, whatever they are, is the other.
Yeah, so sorry, those guys.
Both specialized teams.
Yeah, so their team car, their mechanic team car, gave the Israel Premier Tech rider a wheel to use to get back on the bike. Isn't that neat? I think that's super special. Just while we're on the subject of bad things going on, some good things can happen too. But yeah, no, I think that's what makes that particular ride so goddamn frustrating in some respects to watch, because you had those it's weird that you actually have favorites in that race, but you actually did, and the 3 favorites are right there, right? So to speak.
I mean, it's script writing that you just couldn't write, right? Like you just couldn't write that script. That those 3 were going to go off and those 3 were going to hit like they did. There's certainly some ups and downs for all of them, obviously, but the king of Roubaix, 3-peat now, Mathieu van der Poel, and he had a flat tire too. He had to get a bloody wheel change or a bike change, whatever he did as well. Tadej obviously went wide and sort of fucked up and ran off the road and rah. This is not his first case of doing that either. I get that it's slippery, and look, I think if you didn't crash at Roubaix this year, then you didn't ride Roubaix, because it looked like just about everybody had a crash and went down or slipped or did something.
Yeah,
somewhere.
100%. What are your thoughts though? Do you feel? Do you agree or think that if the 2 of them had gone to the line, that it would have been a sprint, it was 50-50, or do you feel that
she was MVP all day long? If it had got to a sprint, it was going to be Matthew all day long. personally. That's what I think.
And you think if Mads had got there as well, do you still think it was?
Oh, God. Oh,
It's a
don't
tough
know.
one.
I mean,
I think it,
I
I
guess it
think if
depends on
the
who
three of
came
them
in
went to the
first, right?
line, I'm talking over you. I think the three of them went to the line. Pogacar was third.
Yeah, totally.
If three of them went to the line, Pogacar was third. That's all. That's about the only thing I think you could guarantee. I wanted Pogacar. There was about 15% of me that was like, if there's going to be an upset, I want him to win because he's great for the sport, man. Mads is a great guy, right? But Mads doesn't have the charismatic, friendly, lovable personality that Tade does, right? So I wanted him to win, but I also a three-peat like that's a monumental, incredible. His dad would be so. I watched Van der Poel when I was a kid, right? Did you know that?
Yes. Well, I
Yeah,
didn't
his
know
old
you
man.
watched it, but
Oh, Van der Poel
look,
was a hero.
look. Yeah. I mean, the three-peat again. I think the three-peat things and Matthew Van der Poel winning is just going back to what you said. There's so many things in that race that have to go right to get you actually to the finish, but to have that 3 years in a row
Yeah,
and get it 100% right 3 years in a row, that's some incredible luck. And not just luck. There's some
it's
there's some
talent as well, of
incredible
course.
talent in the rider. There's some good preparation by the mechanics on the bike, blah 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 blah. But at the end of the day, to do that 3 times in a row, that's off the hook. That's
Yeah,
out the gate.
yeah, and I'm stoked that he won it because I think that people they're those moments, right? He might not win anything else, but he still won that 3 times, and I truly believe that's that's
I don't think
his
I
special
think it
moment.
was better for the sport that he won.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
because we need to share. And if Tade starts winning all these fucking classics, which he's won a couple already, then he goes off and wins the Grand Tours, and then he wins the Tour, and fucking rah rah rah. Who else wins anything? And so I think to not to have somebody who can beat him in the classics or like
Yeah.
full, I think it could have been a very foolish move showing up full stop in the
Yeah.
first place. So fair play to Tade for actually getting on the start line and going at it
Yeah.
in the first place. But
I think that because what will happen is if he wins everything, it'll end up like Indurain or not so much Lance because he only really at one race, but you have those guys that are just monumental bike riders for those 4 to 5. Look at Verstappen, same thing, right? You just be like, no, he's gonna fucking win anyway. What's the point of watching? So the popularity of the sport doesn't necessarily go away, but people just aren't engaged in it because there's no excitement. He comes along when him and old mate you know, did that last time trial on the up the hill, was it 4 years ago, and was only seconds in it to effectively win the tour. Like that, there moments when there's a fight. It's interesting, isn't it?
yeah.
That's what you're saying.
Do you follow or have you seen Burgess and his bike on Instagram?
No.
Okay, you need to. Burgess, we actually met him at Adelaide. He's a fucking hard case, but he's got this Instagram page, Burgess and his bike, and he does piss takes of the teams, right? So he's just put one out recently of Tade's mid-year or last few months, but he's season review basically as the team manager, and then he has a cut with he does both sides of the thing there, so he edits it together. So
Right.
he's Tade, and then he's the manager. Anyway, they get chatting about his season and how good it's been, and Tade's trying to basically say, but I got second here. Well, second's not first, Tade. Rah rah rah,
Yeah.
and then they get to Paris-Roubaix, and he's like, oh, but I got at Paris-Roubaix, and basically he just gets cut and go, no,
Right.
no, not at all, not at all. But why not? Because it wasn't on Strava, and so you weren't there. And
Right.
of course, if you've seen the press afterwards, Tade's quite clear about he would have loved to have seen his power numbers when he crashed and he had to swap bike. He didn't have his Garmin, or he lost his Garmin, or he lost
Right.
whatever, and so he never got the power file to finish the race. Apparently, the lead up to that was pretty incredible, and then onwards from there. So, he's funny as fuck. Yeah, he'd be worth a follow too.
I think you mentioned him the other week, so I know I need to do that. You just have to send me the dates because I won't go and follow him. So anyway, I think it was a huge effort from Reef, and a huge effort from Nate, as up and coming bike riders in their brand new teams. Super special. And I know there was a crash, and they didn't actually say it at the time. It looked like a Red Bull rider went down and another rider, and they knew who the other rider was. But I realised afterwards, I think it was Lawrence. He went down on a left-hand bend. He went down first. It looked like his front wheel washed out from under him. Who knows? He's a very skilled bike rider, so it would have been more likely a mechanical mistake or weather mistake rather than him. And it was a shame because one of the guys, now he was a bike rider, and I don't know who it was. Who was it? Said,
"Fuck, there was only how many? Like, there's a lot of bike riders there, mate."
No. There was a bike rider the ex-bike rider that said to me over the last week or so, he's going to win a classic. Now, who was that? So, add some clout. Anyway, maybe he will. Wouldn't that be amazing? Imagine us talking about that one year. Lawrence Petrie wins a.
When does he have to do that by?
Well, hopefully before I'm in a box, mate.
No, but
otherwise you'd be talking by yourself. I wonder who would you chew the fat with without me? Fuck, you'd have them lining up.
Oh, mate, there wouldn't be a chew the fat without me. Without you, there just wouldn't be one. It just wouldn't be one. Now, where have you travelled in the last hour and 11 listening to us chew the fat? How far have you ridden, or where have you driven to? That's how long we've been, buddy. How much time we've lost in our day that we're never going to get back.
Yeah, we'll never get it back.
Mr. Brown, what else is on your list?
Okay, I've got a couple of other wee things. I do want to say that it's absolutely okay to have big dreams, and it's absolutely okay to fulfill them. And you don't have to be a scholar to fulfill your dreams, but it doesn't hurt you to go to school and learn how to learn. Because when you're in life, you've got to learn your shit all the time, so you can actually get to the next spot. And that just comes back to you. I just don't want to throw cold water on your dream, mate.
I went to my daughter's university graduation the other day. Have we talked about that since I've been there? Did we talk about that last time or not? I can't remember. And so I went to Wolfbrook Arena for the Canterbury University. There's her section, and there's fucking however many hundred people graduating there. And it's a bloody interesting thing, isn't it? That a lot of people are graduating and have learnt a lot, and that was the Bachelor of Arts thing. And fuck, this will bloody sink our podcast. But what? And then they had some lady who had just been made an honorary doctorate, and she got up at the end and spoke, and she was supposed to have a speech, and she didn't, and she thought she'd just do it off the cuff, and she obviously belongs to the university and's been there since 1908 when the thing first opened, and waffled more than I'm waffling now. And I was there with my son Daniel, and we just looked at each other and went, "What is this lady on?" But she was telling us, proud of the people. If you've got a Bachelor of Arts, you are going to be the people who lead this country. You are going to be the people who make all the success. And I just don't even get what it is.
Right? Yeah, it doesn't resonate with you.
It's such a vast, broad, and maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's why you'll go so well, because you've got that. But
who knows? I mean, you might go far, and it's not the success of people isn't always financial, right? But otherwise, but how else do you measure it? It's the easiest way to measure anything. Money. That's the easiest way to measure anything.
There were
it doesn't
people
mean you can measure someone because of it, because you could rock up here at a Toyota and have $1 million in the bank, or you could rock up here at a Ferrari and have no money in the bank. Who's fucking richer? Well, 99% of people will say the small-dicked guy that came in the Ferrari, right? But the Toyota guy's just killing it. He's killing it.
He's the guy who turned up in his Lambo with his Ferrari parked in the garage and the Porsche out on the street.
Yeah, but I'm fucking leveraged up the eyeballs. So just think
with
about
a small
dick. Wow. Fucking bullshit.
I didn't say it. You said it.
There's a very good chance that the one of the people that are listening to this on their bike just hit a pothole accidentally. Jesus.
While we're on schooling,
Yeah.
How on earth is your son going to go to school with that haircut?
I actually want him to go to that school with their haircut. But are you bringing this up because you want me to talk about poos on the driveway? Or are you talking, or what? Are you talking about Hudson or Luca?
Yes,
Hudson.
Hudson.
Well, he's got a
Hudson.
horsey. So that's for people that don't know what that is. A horsey is effectively just a shaved head with where a rat's tail, but the rat's tail is not where a rat would have it. It's up the ass of the up the back of the head, where the ass of the horse would be. Therefore, it's called a horsey.
I was impressed by how square his forehead was, though. How the cut across the front
Yeah,
was.
yeah,
It was.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Gets that from his dad.
So, what did you think about the Amstel Gold Race last night? I will say, and I'm not a big advocate of drinking at all. I think it's fucking lazy, to be honest. I think people who drink are lazy. You got nothing to say to that? Okay.
No, because
Right.
I'm nearly finished my hard rated alcoholic lemonade here.
Yeah, and I know that like getting a buzz on from alcohol is actually quite nice because I was buying that that kombucha from the New World and stuff, and I always thought, shit, this stuff makes me feel fucking amazing. But of course, it was 16% alcohol, and I'm getting buzzed off my tits. And they took it off the shelves, and I can't even remember what the name of it's called now. But geez, I wish I had a bunch of that in the garage because that was my excuse. I don't drink, but boy oh boy, the buzz off that stuff was off the fucking charts. But where was I going with that? Oh, did you see?
Amstel
What I was
Gold
going to say.
Podium.
Yeah, so the Amstel Gold Podium girls, so they get a beer. Did you see them? They're sculling the shit out of that, like they're at fucking junior prom.
What did I see of the Amstel Gold Race? I saw a photo finish
at the
boys
boys
at the finish line. And I saw a photo finish at the finish line of, was that the girls? Was that the girls that they were all lined up 3 together there or something? Was it? And then I saw the podium, and that's about what I saw of it. But that podium was pretty impressive.
Now the girls sculled their beers, good on them, and then the boys didn't. But old fucking Pagacha, you got to give him credit. He had a wee skull, and then just off the side, you can see him have another wee one and sort of say to the crowd, "Hey, I'm here." But the other boys, they put them straight down. They're non-drinkers, and so ordinarily I'd say, well, good on them for not getting hoodwinked into the whole thing. But I sort of felt like that's one of those things. Even if you should just kind of do it.
I reckon.
Anyway.
The girls were mightily impressive. They were. That was fantastic viewing. That was like pretty cool to see those 3 girls up there and then nick those beers, because that's just what you do. We've just won the Amstel Gold, or we're on the podium here, and you get presented a beer. So what else would you do? It's like I'd much rather win. Now this is not true, but you could almost say I'd much rather win the Amstel Gold so I could drink a beer against winning the Indianapolis 500, because there's no way I'd nick a bottle of milk.
No. Has anyone ever drunk the whole bottle of milk before?
Oh, I think most of them.
They give it a go, but it goes everywhere.
And then it all goes everywhere. And
yeah. But was it now? I just can't remember. I'm just leaning forward. But I don't think I put anything on my notes. But Remco's, was that his first big race back after his multiple crashes? That was his first race back, wasn't it? Yeah. His bike was beautiful. The bottom of his shoes were painted gold as well. Specialized again, just fucking knock it out of the park, don't they? And just do amazing bikes for their riders. I think it's really cute that the Trek kid won. I think he was, how old was he? I don't know, but I posted on our gram today because I was just so impressed that when he got to the finish, he didn't know he'd won. And he's just like, have I won? And you could tell, like, part of him was like, he's ready to bawl his eyes out. And the other part of him is just like ready to bawl his eyes out, but he doesn't know which way to bawl. It was so cool. And that was like a 255K race. Comes down to literally 2 inches. Like, I just think that's amazing. So yeah, that young kid, Sugar Molsey or whatever his name is, won that. And I just think that's incredible. Yeah.
Well, that's
can I read the last bit? Can I read something from a snippet of what he said?
Go on then. You have done research. This is unlike you.
Oh, no, because I wanted to. The reason I printed this off is because I actually wanted to know what he said afterwards, because you could hear the guys saying, what, when it came through, oh, you've won. It's like, fuck yeah. I feel like the F word sometimes you use it a bit much, but if there's ever a fucking time to use the F word, it's when you've just found out that you've won one of the world's biggest bicycle classics and you weren't sure, and you're like, fuck, you gotta be kidding. So I really don't believe it. I was telling Remco all the time that I was just fucked. I was on the limit. Said Molsey, whatever his name is. What's his first? Can you figure out what his first name is so I can say that? Because I just can't remember his first name. I was riding for the podium. A podium would have been a really big result for me. I thought I was going to cramp, or just see them go on the horizon. And yeah, then he just never gave up, and he just kept going. And most people would be intimidated off the charts, right? I mean, those two bike riders, you've hung with them, and he was swinging, mate. He was swinging with like 50, just for so long, and they couldn't get rid of him, or maybe they just thought we won't get rid of him. And I feel like they're both such great human beings that they probably thought we'll take him to the finish. But yeah, I just think that's incredible. So he was super emotional, super excited, and ends up being like our mate Simon Gerrans, winning a classic and putting his name in the history books.
So Matthias,
thank you.
And that's easier to say than his last name.
Yeah.
Now,
Giro, we went out for dinner on Saturday, I think, Giro. Got home, I set Hudson down, and I made him watch Milan San Remo win, because I'm just like, oh, you've sat with this guy. Like, you need to see how good he was. Like this,
was he impressed?
Yeah, but mate, I was like, because because you think you're best mates with these guys, you have a wee tear rolling down your face because they put the right music in the background, and it's so cool, man. And I just thought, Giro, such a great guy, Gus. That night we did April the 11th, a Friday night at Frank's, really special event. You just hit it out of the park. Darren Shand. I mean, what can I say about that guy? What a fucking hero! What a super amazing guy. To put his to put his spin on the sport and sport in itself, and ask the right questions of Giro. And you, mate, you've done your research, and then Giro tops it off with some really breathtaking moments about his career in cycling and about his family. Very cool night. So bravo to you, mate.
No, bravo to you for putting that together. Hopefully the first of many. If you weren't lucky enough to come or couldn't make it or whatever, you missed a rip snorter of a night. Such an amazing night with so many cool people. The venue's just incredible. To know what was in that crate, the little crate at the end, that was off the hook. But what astounded me was, you think about, and I don't know whether he's just watched it all back and that's how he knows, or whether you actually do remember, like the blow for blow recollection of a race that was, or multiple races, because every question that he was asked, he put all the background around whatever the question was and the situation at the time and who was there and wasn't there and how many watts he was doing at the time and things. And the recollection and memory of those days is incredible, because I'd have thought that you were so far in the box, chewing stems, thinking about it, like the last thing you'd be doing is physically photographing all the bits that are going on around you leading up to that, right? So the recollection's incredible. I suppose it all comes back later on. But.
Yeah, and maybe he watches it over and over. But when he was talking about that Cavendish moment where, Cavendish leant on him with this many meters to go, and he leant on him for this long, and he could feel him doing this. And I can't even recall it, mate. It was only a week ago, but it was blow for blow, wasn't it? It was very cool. But it wasn't just about him either. Like the recall of so many cycling moments that he'd been around or not been around is the reason he's probably one of the best TV presenters on the planet, making SBS what it is over there. I mean, Yeah, the tone of his voice is amazing. His recollection is off the hook. His tone and poise are incredible. He just has it all, and he's goddamn fucking good looking as well. So he actually does have it all. He's got a face for TV, Gus.
You man crushing again.
God, I hope he's listening to this. I really do.
What was your question? Something about showering naked in front of people or something?
I don't know. I just thought I'd just try and change the mood. It was supposed to be funny, but what happened is the room got real quiet, Gus. I don't know if you noticed that. You could hear a pin drop, and I sort of went from this, oh, this will be a bit funny to ask a real dumb question, just see if someone pipes up, to, holy shit, I've got to try and dig myself out of a hole. And I actually felt like I was naked in that room and everyone was watching me. That's how it felt. It was bloody good. But no, you did a great job that night, mate. It was such a special night, and I do hope we do that again. It was a mammoth effort to put on. It's the old story, isn't it? Like, you just think, oh, it's all right. You just bring someone over and have them there the night, but trying to organise trips for them and go and do stuff with the family and everything. Thank God they got the week they got, like with the weather. If they'd arrived, it was this week, they would have, been bloody, stuck inside, have been suicide. So, we got really, really lucky. Really lucky.
We did. I think it's just, there was a small room of 100 people or whatever it was that he knew nobody of, that were just local Christchurch people, and he doesn't matter whether you're paying the guy or not, whether you're paying for him to come over or not. He did not have to come and give his time up like that to a little select group of people.
Yeah.
And he did it with the most open arms and welcoming. Nothing was off the table. He just wanted to share anything, and it was hats off to the guy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You nailed it, mate. And the event was at a super cool location. So thanks again to Frank. I'm sure he will not be listening to this, and if he is, he's certainly not 1 hour and 26 minutes into it, Gus. So, but it was a team effort. Everyone that was involved, all my guys that work here, they may have not felt like they were helping, but being able to do that and not come to work, so that, do you know what I mean? Like, it's that those things happen because of a lot of people. So I can't take credit for that, mate. It was such a good night. We are going to do it again. I'm not sure who it's going to be with. But yeah, hey, can I just quickly mention that there is some big news coming from SRAM. Now, I'm not a big fan of the earlier model SRAM that you've got. I don't know what they call it, still Access and everything, but it's not the new stuff. But they released the new SRAM Red late last year, was it? I think, or early this year, which has got the new lever, the more powerful lever, the better shifting, gorgeous cranks. I mean, to me, one of the nicest group sets ever made. Good timing, given that Shimano's about to launch their brand new group set sometime in June, July around the tour. We know that Factor are hopefully going to be, or potentially be releasing a brand new bike just before the tour. There's going to be so many new, innovative, amazing things released this year around the tour. I can't tell you. And I think the reason of that is that the big companies now have come out of COVID. Their R&D teams who were working on things that were told to slow down a bit. We've got no tin. They've now got the ability to actually launch that new product, right? That's my gut feeling. Specialized have just launched their brand new e-bike. But yeah, there's some really grainy pictures around, but I do believe that we're going to have a brand new lever, a brand new group set, a brand new model version of SRAM Force released sometime in the next 2 or 3 months, 12 weeks, which is super exciting. So,
well, like you said, so, I don't know, maybe we need to send this podcast, or even just a snippet of this podcast, in the right direction of the right people.
Correct.
I am running old SRAM Access on all of my fleet because it is starting to get old, and I'd be, I wouldn't say no to new SRAM Access to replace that with.
I know, I feel you. No, we could definitely, we just got to get old Sandra to make sure that we just take this piece out and then send it off to SRAM NZ, but most importantly SRAM USA, and they'll hear our beautiful Kiwi accents and just give in to you, mate.
You know what else you could do? You could DTA and order 2.
Good DTA. Yeah, but poor old Aiden, He doesn't need to see 40 grams worth of group sets coming through. But I don't know what the new price is going to be like. I don't actually think we might get lucky enough to get. We're actually very lucky here at the store. We will probably have the first, if not the first, at least one of the first couple of Dura Ace group sets. I know that I'm pretty sure that there's a new mountain bike group set coming out, which I'm sure will be electronic from Shimano. I'm pretty certain we were the only, or if not one of the only people to have the new SRAM Red group set, of course, when that was launched. I suspect it'll be the same with this new Force group set. And then you won't get many group sets, I don't think, for a while. They'll go on all the OEM spec bikes, I suspect. So, yeah. Anyway.
You'll be back to buying bikes to strip gear off them.
You've had to do that in the past. I mean, you literally have to do that sometimes. The only way you can get a group set is if you buy a bike. So it's not unusual in our store to have done that in the past. It's if you want something, the only way to get it sometimes is go all in. So,
right, my good friend, that was.
I reckon we're done, eh?
That's an hour and a half of what was. Just quickly, what will the week be?
Really bad.
What will the week be?
Are you asking me that question?
Yeah.
Oh, short week. Anzac Day, Friday. I can't think of anything worse than having another goddamn day off work. I wish we could just open. I think we can open half a day. But anyway, so that's a short week this week. So it's Tuesday tomorrow, then Wednesday, Thursday. We've got the launch of the new bike, so I'm pretty excited about that. I reckon we'll do half a dozen of those bikes by the end of Saturday trade. Matt's back in the store this week, slaying a few. It's a big call, but I think there's a lot of people out there that would love to own a $25,000 bike or something close to it, and if it's nowhere near that, that's going to be on their wish list this week. So
we should have been doing like a factor ride in the weekend to release it.
We still might do something like that. Now I'm actually holding on to it right now. I've got to do ways. I've got boxing in the morning with Steve Dingwall down at Body Fix, and I'm ready to get my ass handed to me. What are you up to this week? Tell me.
Again, short week. It's a pain in the ass for any business owner out there that or anybody that runs a business or whatever. You know the cost of having goddamn public holidays. We got wheels to turn. We got freight to deliver. We got Trek bikes to deliver all across the country. Joe, if you're listening, hopefully we might do some specialised ones for you around the country too sometime shortly. There's a wee request. No, mate. Just I'm hoping the weekend coming, Anzac weekend, looks like it's going to be better weather.
Yeah, wouldn't that be lovely?
And then I might actually get outside on the bike instead of the 20 minutes that seems to be my absolute max on the indoor trainer. I get to about 20 minutes and then I'm done and I just can't be asked. So who knows what it'll bring, but I think 1 hour, somebody's ridden, where have you ridden? You've done a long base and an hour 32, have you?
Yeah, 55 Ks or something, 50 Ks, something like that. Yeah, all I can say is that going into this, I didn't think I had a lot to talk about. I've really enjoyed tonight. I feel like we didn't actually touch base on many of the things that we probably should have touched on, but I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I will be listening to this myself to help the algorithm.
You're a fucking team player, Mr. Brown. You're a team player. Everybody, thank you very much for listening to us chew the fat once again. Hopefully, this has allowed you to lose a little bit of time. He's out. See you, Bob. He's just walking out. He's dropped the mic. We're